In the ancient world, media didn't consist of independent journalists. The historical record was managed entirely by court historians, high priests, and poets answering directly to autocrats. This animated diagram illustrates the narrative double standard they created. On the left, heroes tied to the state are granted dozens of complex, interconnected motives. On the right, physical outliers are severed from that complexity and stamped with a single unyielding label: beast or curse. For a ruler like King Minos, civic obedience is a secondary concern. His primary goal is absolute authorship over reality. The legends and myths passed down to us operate as state-sponsored propaganda, specifically designed to divide populations and preserve royal power. Take the Minotaur, history's supposedly mindless predator. Behind the myth, Walden, or Wally as he prefers, is a theatrical perfectionist obsessed with the spatial geometry of his maze. Wally struck a secret arrangement with King Minos. Using padded napkins and copious amounts of sunberry jam, Wally performs terrifying fake executions for the nobles watching from above, manufacturing the exact fear the king's propaganda machine requires. But under the floorboards, Wally runs a covert rebellion. Instead of harming the condemned outcasts dropped into his maze, he actively guides them to a hidden rear exit leading out to the sea. During one critical escape, with guards closing in, Wally pauses the entire operation to orchestrate a massive group hug with 4 terrified children before sending them into the dark. Right in the absolute center of a labyrinth engineered for state-sponsored terror, the supposed monster invents a ritual of comfort. Closeness becomes a direct act of defiance against the king's labels. When King Minos launches a military assault on Pelagon's retreat, a peaceful settlement of refugees, he prioritizes optics over tactics. He packs his flagship with poets and senators specifically to document his victory for the history books. The settlement responds with strict logistical evasion. The entire city physically relocates to avoid the violence, resulting in 0 casualties. Minos arrives to find an empty ocean. Unable to admit defeat to a captive audience of historians, he immediately fabricates a lie about outlaw wizards to save face. This exposes autocracy as an aesthetic performance. When military reality fails to match the script, the powerful simply rewrite the history to protect their vanity. Years later, on the docks of the relocated settlement, Wally arrives to find those 4 escaped children grown, weathered, and running their own lives. The physical dynamics immediately shift. It is the young adults, not the Minotaur, who spontaneously rush forward to initiate the group hug. This gesture completely ignores the strict societal categories, citizen versus beast, that the king relies on to maintain order. The children inherited Wally's invention. What started in the dark as a desperate plea for survival has evolved in the sunlight into a permanent celebration of their found family. Across the sea, the Gorgon Medusa shares a similar hidden reality. Far from the lethal nightmare of classical myth, she is a grumpy, highly skilled artisan who spends her days weaving geometric tapestries. She lives a quiet domestic life, operating in a fierce, protective partnership with Alara, a blind human girl who acts as her hyper-competent logistics manager. That peace breaks down when Minos' elite forces arrive at her doorstep to enforce the king's will. Cornered by the guards, Medusa launches a highly unconventional counterattack. Instead of drawing weapons, she commands an immediate group hug. The Cyclops lunges forward, scooping up the entire family in his massive arms to physically shield their eyes from Medusa's gaze. With her friends protected, Medusa drops her hood and instantly turns the elite guards to stone, utilizing her presumed monstrous curse as a precise defensive tool. The hug is now fully operationalized. A gesture of comfort serves as a flawless tactical strategy, neutralizing the state's military advantage without a single casualty. Kings and autocrats use their power to preserve their legends in stone and text. Marginalized figures, written off as monsters, use their intellect and affection to preserve one another.